All right, so here's our new video for the 2-slot gasket. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to press this Access Document button, and then that's going to bring up a workspace with their document. And so once that loads in, then we'll click Make a Copy. You can name it whatever you want, just make your copy, and that'll copy the workspace so that we can go ahead and start editing it. Okay, and so what we want to do is we want to create ours and kind of get ours to look like how theirs does. So we're going to click on this picture to get our dimensions, and I can even click again to make them a little bit bigger. So we want our dimensions to look like this. So I'm going to come in here to sketch 1, and I'm going to double click it, and it doesn't look good at all right now. So I'm going to hit normal to the plane, and I see a lot of these lines aren't vertical, aren't horizontal, whereas in our picture, these lines are all horizontal, vertical, horizontal, horizontal, vertical. So I'm going to start off there. So I'm going to start off, this one looks like it's horizontal already, but this one is not. I'm going to go to vertical, make that guy vertical and that guy vertical. So now we're looking a little bit better. And I actually did a lot with these geometric constraints. You can add in a lot of dimensions, but I kind of saved myself time by just saying, hey, you know what? If I look at their picture, all of this is lined up vertically and horizontally. So I kind of saved myself some time and just said, hey, let's just keep with the vertical and say, hey, this guy was above that guy. Right, and this guy was above that guy. And then these two arcs were lined up. These two arcs were lined up. And then I did horizontal with, okay, these should have been horizontal. These should have been horizontal. And those should have been horizontal. And those should have been horizontal. And so I kind of saved myself a lot of time by doing that. Because now I have a shape that's a lot more close to being symmetrical. So then from there, I just started adding in my dimensions. I know it's 175 to the center to the right, and the overall was 350. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the dimension tool. All right, from the right to the right was 175, and from the left to the left was 300. Then we also had the circle, this big outer circle had a radius of 95. And we noticed the bottom one changed as well. You could see if you need to do the bottom one, you can always try it. And if it gives you a different number, then yeah, we need to do the bottom one as well. So 95 and 95, right? And that, when it says 2 times 95, a lot of times we're gonna have to do them both. All of these arcs are 25. It says 4 by 25. So I'm going to make this 25. Now I might not need to do the other ones because I did this vertical horizontal, but we'll check it. So if it's giving me 25 and it's kind of turning gray, just hit escape because that means we already did it. So you can just go ahead and undo that. We don't want to put in that 25. We've already done it. Now if yours doesn't turn gray, you might not have done the vertical horizontal stuff I did. Then you can dimension all 4 of them as being 25. Okay, looking at some other things that I need. The 25 is going to this slot, which we haven't made yet, but we do need this 120, right? So that height of 120 we need. Right, and then the other thing that we don't have is we don't have the 120 for the inner circle. So this inner circle should have been 120. I think I messed mine up somewhere. Yeah, it's because this was 350. I wrote 300. So if you notice, hey, this doesn't quite look right, just double check those dimensions. That was supposed to be 350. So now this is correct looking, right? And then we will go ahead and finish that sketch. And so now, this part looks right, but the 2 holes don't look right. And the 2 holes are from my second sketch, right? If I hover over them, we'll see they highlight. When I hover over sketch 1, they didn't highlight, but sketch 2 they do. So I'm going to double click on sketch 2 and kind of do a similar thing. I'm going to start off by just saying, hey, you know what? This was horizontal and this guy was horizontal. And then I knew they were all lined up with each other. So I'm going to make this piece lined up with the middle, right? And then this point lined up with the middle. That's staying on the horizontal tool. They're lined up horizontally across. Right? I can kind of see that here with that center mark. They're lined up horizontally. Now they both have a height of 20. And they're both 25 away from the edge and 60 away from the top. So I'm going to add those in. So I'm going to go to my dimensioning tool, right? And the height here to here was 20. I think it's a 2 times 20. So I'm going to do that on both sides. Right, then they were 25 away from the edge. So again, I can do that on both sides. This point, the edge was 25. And I think it was 60 from the top, but I'll double check it. Yeah, 60 from the top. So this point to the top was 60. And actually, we don't need that one. It turned gray, and it turned gray because I had already lined it up to the middle. So I can actually go ahead and undo that one. So I'm still getting this guy as not being defined. And so I think if I put in that radius of 10, that might, no, let's double check it. Okay, so it was the distance. So what I was missing was this 2 by 50, right? From here to here was 50. 2 by 50 means the other one's the same. So I'm going to go to dimension. And from this point to that point is 50, or we could have picked the line as well. So that's 50. And then right, this line was 50 as well. Now it's fully defined. Everything's black. I'm good to go. I'm going to go ahead and hit the check mark. Then I'll hit Shift 7 or right click and go to my isometric view. And then we can go ahead and just check our mass properties and make sure that we're getting the correct answer, 86,752.502. You got that. Take your screenshot and you're good to submit.